Welcome back to Running with Coach Tori.
And Jeff.
And we are bringing you the running news from the week, whether it is to entertain you on your long run or to give you something to talk about with your running group. We've got you covered. And if you can hear like a nice bass beat in the background, can you hear this? Because this is the parking lot struggle, I guess.
I can't hear it, so you're good.
Okay. I was going to say someone is like, it's a Starbucks, like the vibe is chill, but someone is like bumping the music and, just can't be avoided. But anyway, I know we have a bunch of stories today, or at least you have 4 or so, but before we get into that, I did want to give a little shout out to Kids Running for people who are newer listeners. You don't know that I used to have a kids running group, but anybody who's here from the Raising Runners, that's obviously where it started. But so over the weekend, my adorable son had his last race of the spring season, so he got his medal for the Healthy Kids Running, which is like always super cute, right? Like gotta love kids running programs, and I feel like it is kind of inspiring to see, because we've talked a lot about like why the sport of running is like not as popular or like fading or just like no one's really that into it. And it's like when I was little, and I'm sure obviously even more when you were little, like you either like ran for your school or you ran on like some kind of AAU team or whatever it is. And that was like the only options to care or be into running. And now it's like they have Girls on the Run. I think they have Stride, which was like Boys on the Run. Maybe it's different now. They have the Healthy Kids Running series, which is literally just like a couple of fun races in the fall, a couple of fun races in the spring. I had like a youth running program that also does like growth mindset. And there's a bunch of clubs like that as well. So there really are like a lot of things like that now. So hopefully that's like raising a generation of kids who at least can understand running a little better and find it to be, like just more relatable and interesting. But in that notion, so you know me, I can be, it's always the joke of like, what is the crazy thing I'm doing now, whether it's, but anyway, so I can be a little competitive, but I'm really trying not to be that parent. But so a couple weeks ago, he wanted to be a T-Rex. And so he was like racing as a T-Rex, ran super fast, growled, the whole thing was great. As you know, we also are into birds. And so the past 2 races he's done, he's been a duck, because a duck is like, it's it right now. And let me tell you how slow the duck runs, because he flaps his wings and he waddles, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like he's having so much fun. It's so cute. But I'm like, what were you doing? He's like, oh, well, I was a duck. And I'm like, that explains it, because I had no idea what, because he runs around all the time and like can run well and whatever else, but he's got and it's little duck wings, because he's obviously a baby duck, so he's like flapping like this and tiptoe waddling.
Yeah, that'll slow you down a bit.
Oh yeah.
Slows you down. Ducks winning races. No, that doesn't happen.
Right. And I'm like, what, let me not even. He's having fun. He's 4. It doesn't matter. But in that notion as well, I was thinking of comparing some of his favorite animals to humans, because as we know, anybody who's read Born to Run knows that we like Born to Run as well. But that there's some animal comparisons as to like humans being the best endurance athletes, blah, blah, blah. So I compared an owl to people, Tyrannosaurus Rex, a crocodile, and a tiger. And well, first I got some silly results of like an owl running versus people running. And I'm like, oh, this is exactly like the duck running, right? I meant like an owl flying. So I'm going to disregard that, and I'll get to the owl in a second. But, okay. So as we know, humans, best endurance athletes, sprints, we know can be a little more iffy. So hypothetically, the T-Rex, because again, we don't know T-Rexes that well. The T-Rex is fast, but probably can't actually even beat a human, even in like a sprint, which is kind of surprising to me. They think it can probably do like 10 to maybe 25 miles an hour. And that's just because they're like too big, and they more are like slower plodding type animals. Whereas so people can probably out sprint them, and their endurance is poor too. So they're not going to like chase you down. Larger body size equals high energy demands. They're not built for long chases. So like obviously they're strong. They could ambush you in a short pursuit, probably if you're not paying attention. But
somehow a T-Rex sneaks up on you. You're right. You
What
probably weren't paying attention.
I'm taking, what I'm taking away from this is like, because it's one of those things that people fear, and I know like with Jurassic Park, it was like, oh my gosh, or the what is it, the second one where the T Rex and all the animals are like in Nate like the streets of the city and whatever. So like oh my gosh, you're running from the T Rex. It sounds like it'd actually be pretty easy to not only sprint away from a T Rex, but if you ran long enough, like it's not catching you. So good news there. Do not worry if there's ever T Rexes. You're fine. Same thing with crocodiles. Honestly, I'm like getting very confused by the information I got here. Crocodiles are short bursts, which we know, right? We've seen videos of them like charging and whatever else. But like very short distances, again, more like an ambush. They're not really built for running. So you can easily outrun them on land, according to this research. So please don't ever take this as like, well, I can just be near crocodiles. They're not dangerous. And then their endurance is also poor. Extremely poor land endurance. Obviously, swimming, if you're in the water, you have much more of an issue, but their muscles are geared for power, not stamina. Obviously, they're cold blooded, which equals poor aerobic capacity and temperature dependent performance. So, again, if it's a race situation on land, it says you can beat a croc, but don't they say the whole like you run in like a zigzag or something to get away from them? Is that even real? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it's real. They can't maneuver side to side very well, but I mean
I'm scared
they have eaten people before, right? I
for
mean
sure.
small people, babies, animals. I mean pets like dogs or cats. So I mean it happens.
That's
So
usually near the water, though, correct? Like
yeah,
they
yeah,
come out of the
yeah.
water.
Yeah, I don't know whether yeah maybe people get surprised because they can come out of the water quick. Um,
Yeah.
or they're in the water swimming, which is probably a bad jam to have a crocodile then attack you in the water.
Right. Well, when we did that biking thing around like
Hmm.
that crocodile place in Florida, and they were pretty chill. But again, I'm like, I would probably just panic, and then I guess maybe you fall off the bike and you have a problem. So,
Yeah, and they may have been alligators. I mean, I know they're
oh,
one and the
right.
same for most people, but yeah, I can't remember whether those are alligators or crocodiles or both. They may have been both.
Yeah, I that's above my pay grade here. And then the tiger, which again is they're like almost extinct, I believe, or they're very they're endangered, maybe. But so they are faster than people for sprinting. They can do like 30 to 40 miles an hour over 100 feet. But again, you get kind of far away from them. You're pretty good. So if you have a head start and you just keep going, I think you're probably in the clear. Um, their endurance is poor. Yes, again, built for ambush. So all these animals that he likes are ambush animals. We don't really have to worry too much about them chasing you down for a while. They'll overheat and tire quickly over long distances. They have fast twitch muscles for explosive power. Blah blah blah. Tigers will crush us in a sprint, but not in an endurance race. And then for the owl with flying versus running, because they can't run very well at all. If anyone's ever seen an owl run on land, it's pretty silly. But most owls can fly 20 to 40 miles an hour with short bursts up to 50 miles an hour. So again, they're out sprinting us because top sprinters like Usain Bolt are 27 to 28 miles an hour. So sprint, they're crushing us, but they're not built for endurance because they're not migratory birds. So yeah, so I mean that just as we know, humans are the top endurance athletes, but it seems like none of these creatures at least can touch that. But in a sprint race, they're not too bad.
Yeah, I think you're discounting the fact that probably most humans aren't in very good shape either. So
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we might be able to outendure some of these animals, but I don't know that most people are in good enough shape to have their endurance kick in.
Yeah, I guess I should have said like the average American or something, and I may have gotten different results.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a quick search as I was sitting in the parking lot trying to get the computer up, and I'm like, this makes sense. But anyway, so that was my little animal update for the few
Huh.
animal
Interesting animal update.
enthusiasts.
Should we go into Grand Slam track? That's I I always seem to bring up Grand Slam track as one of the things I'm interested in. So I always it's like almost always one of my articles.
Yeah, what are you going to talk about in like a month when there's nothing to talk about?
I don't know, man. We got well, we'll be at the Philadelphia one in 2 weeks or less. May 31st, Matt's birthday.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll be there for that one, and yeah. So Grand Slam, I guess, is is making some changes. And I think you pointed this out to me. I didn't actually realize it until I was over your house earlier in the week. Um, and number one change is they've gone from a 3-day event to a 2-day event. So Friday has been canceled. And really what they did is move most of the events from Friday to Saturday and Sunday to turn it into, a 2-day event. I think I mentioned this maybe on the last podcast. I did find it to be kind of a pain to go to the event 3 days in a row. Like, and Friday is not the greatest of timing to be going into a location at 5:30 on a Friday afternoon. It's the worst possible traffic. And it's also the one that was the least participated in from a standpoint of fans, for maybe that same reason. So it seems like it's a good change. What do you think of the change from 2 days from 3 days to 2 days?
Yeah, so it wasn't until I was looking at the actual schedule and we were talking like times and stuff for that I like even realized, because in my head I'm picturing like more of like a Diamond League type thing, right? Like you have all this time, like any track meet I've ever been to, it's just a long, long day. So it's like it makes sense that you have to have all this time. But yeah, when things are that short and condensed, it's like, why are you, especially if people you're expecting people to travel, like they might not want to have to travel and be there for these 3 days for just these 2 hours. Um, so yes, I mean I like efficiency, so this feels more efficient to me. Um, I like it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the change. Like if you could get this down to one day and have it be 3 hours, I think that's really where I think the zone is. That's really that compares to a football game, baseball game, hockey game. It translates to TV well. You could put on an event in one day in 3 hours, probably almost all of the events you have now. I mean, they got rid of the 3,000, by the way, the other change that they made. So, well, actually, they got rid of the 5,000.
Oh, okay.
So, right, so in the long distance event, so if you recall, the Grand Slam has these slams so every competitor has to do two events within that category. So in the long distance category was the 3,000 and the 5,000, which for those athletes, doing it on Friday and then on Sunday was probably pretty good. It's a longer event, takes a bit out of you. Um, so having a day in between was good. So they actually canceled the 5,000 because it's a longer event, and for the most part, those events can be people jog for 10, 11 laps, and then it ends up being sort of a 2, 3 lap race. So seeing it for 5,000 versus 3,000, so they canceled the five. It's longer, it takes more time. So that was a second change. I, I wasn't a fan of that change. I'm okay with canceling one of them. I would have kept the 5,000. The 5,000 is an Olympic event. I don't think the 3,000. I mean, no, I'm pretty sure the 3,000 is not an Olympic event. So I would have kept the 5,000. Again, you probably have that same issue I just described, which there's not a lot of action for the first half dozen laps or so. But to me, it can be exciting. If the women's races were exciting, if people go out and play it honest and try to stretch the group out, then you do get an interesting race. So I'm a fan of the five versus the three, but again, I think it's still a good change to get it down to 2 days, and I think you had to probably cut some stuff out to do that, and that was the one they cut out, the longest possible one.
Yeah, I would have cut the three as well and kept the five because A, it's not that much. With how fast these people run, like the difference is not that crazy in the
Yeah.
time that you're watching. And a 5K is, I feel like, much more relatable to even just like regular spectators, right? Like you can go
Yeah.
out and run a 5K almost anywhere at any weekend from spring to fall. So you can be like, wow, my time is this. These were these people running. It just makes it a little more
Relatable. Yeah,
relatable and
yeah, no, I think
exciting.
that's a great example. I mean, and if you're trying to pull in average fans, there's a lot of people go out and run only 5Ks. I mean, 5Ks are probably a staple of these neighborhood fundraising activities. I mean,
Right.
yeah, there's a lot of half marathons, but I got to believe there's a lot more 5Ks, 10Ks that are out there that are much more locally connected with people. And you're right, it does then. Wow, these people run twice as fast as me.
Right.
So.
Well, no, I wonder, are they going to look to get rid of the long distance category completely then? Because I also feel like in the future it might be harder to get some buy in from those people for that one if it's like, well, I'm only getting half of what everyone else is getting. Obviously, you're running half the events, but it's like there is less incentive there because it is a smaller thing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, no, you hit on one of the other changes, which I should have mentioned, which
Hmm.
was half the prize money.
Oh,
So it doesn't feel right to me that like, hey, you guys chose to cancel one of our two events. I should still be the slam champion, even though it's a one race category.
right.
Um, to give me only $50,000, I thought I was going to get $100,000. Now the guy that's losing out is Grant Fisher. He was the winner of the for the men's side.
Mm-hmm.
Women's side, I think it could be a couple different players. I think there were some challengers that came in that were. I think the challengers have actually won on the women's side, the distance ones.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I think it's I'm blanking on her name, but our Cranny is the women's one,
Oh, okay.
and just women's long distance. I mean, even men's long distance, right? It's dominated by Kenyan and Ethiopian athletes. It's just we're not in the top 10, to be honest, for the most part, and more so on the women's side than maybe the men's side. The men's side, I mean, Grant certainly was an Olympic bronze medalist, but probably not. He's not the world leader. Um, so in a all-out competition against, I think, an Olympic type competition, I still don't think he breaks the top two.
Hmm.
Uh, anyway, so yeah, so in my dream, this is what I think you go with. I do think you get rid of the slams and you get rid of those two event categories and just make them one event. If you had a track meet that could be 3 hours of a 100, 200, 400, 800, 1500, which is I said last week my favorite race of all time now, not to do but to watch. Um, do the go with the 5,000 and then the two hurdle events, short and long. I think you have probably you can do that in 3 hours. You could make a You've gotten rid of the field events already, so I know there's a lot of field people who are upset, but get rid of that. You can now do a really what's I think made perfectly for TV, and I certainly would sit down and watch that every couple of weeks and go out of my way to watch a 3 hour event like that. Certainly more so than maybe a baseball game. Certainly wouldn't watch a baseball game. No hating on baseball. People do love it. Don't write in. I think it's any of the changes. Oh, they did add some new challengers for an already stacked 1500. They added Hobbs Kessler and Josh Hoey. I think I mentioned Josh Hoey before. Hobbs Kessler is in the top 10, certainly. Josh
Mm-hmm.
Hoey, more of an 800-meter guy, but he's in that category. It's the 1500 and the 800. They've had much more 1500-meter people in there. They've had a couple of 800-meter people in there. So they've added Josh Hoey as well. So if they add some new challengers for Philadelphia, I'm interested to see again. My favorite race, I think, is the most competitive one. The only one you don't have of world leaders is my favorite racer of all time now, Ingebrigtsen.
Of
Um,
course.
so, so that's really changes. The question to you is this the beginning of the end? Is it is this the kind of change that was sort of sparked by, all right, we listened to the fans, and this is what Michael Johnson's saying. We listened to the fans. It's a little bit inconvenient to go to 3 days. We're going to cut it down. Or is this a reaction to, man, this is expensive. We're running an event for 3 days. Where prize money's big. They're probably saving $500,000 for if you did the same thing for LA. I don't know. I mean, to me, it doesn't feel like it's just a cost saving move. It seems much more around, making the product better. But I do worry about when you start making changes this quick that you're reacting to things and things aren't going well. If things are going great, I don't think you react as much. And when things aren't going great, you do find yourself trying to come up with answers, and this is the answer they come up with for the short term.
Yeah, I mean, no, I totally agree. And I think it seems like it's definitely for mostly the better, right? But, and I appreciate the positive spin of like, the fans spoke and we listened, but it's like, the fans are never going to stop speaking on things they want changed. And to set that precedent already of like, okay, you guys complain, you don't like it, we're changing it. I think that can be really tricky. Um, because like when does it stop, and when it's probably when it stops serving the actual like money or whatever is the real motive. Um, but yeah, I do worry because I think we talked about this before, right? Like we have to give it time. And I know like even after the first one in Jamaica, there was all of the like, was this a flop because not a lot of people attended or whatever it was. Like there just wasn't enough hype around it, and it's like, yeah, you got to kind of assume most things aren't going to be successful initially, when you start something new business, new whatever it is. So yeah, it just is a little worrisome that it's like, okay, it's not working, we're changing it already, instead of like, okay, we're going to get through the season and then we're going to assume there's a next season and maybe make some tweaks next time. So I do worry a little bit about that, unless they completely restructure it and then it's a whole new thing like you're saying. But yeah, I think you're just setting yourself up for a bunch of angry people, which people are going to be angry all the time, but it's like, okay, now we want it to be one day, now we want it to be this, now we want this person here. And I think people get more angry when they're like, well, you listened to us once, right? And now you're not
Yeah.
listening to what we want. And it's just tricky. I don't know. I hope it does well. I'm excited to
Yeah,
watch.
I love it, man. I love track and field. I think it elevates the sport of running. I mean, I know track and field's only one element of running. For most people, running is the stuff that people do just on a daily basis to stay in shape and stay in condition and do the neighborhood, 10Ks and 5Ks. Yeah, to me, I mean, I don't know whether the attendance is ever going to be enough to support this type of a league. I do think if you're really going to make money and have this be a long-term vibe, it's got to be TV revenue. You just can't sell enough tickets at $25 a ticket to really support, what's probably, I mean, a $30 million investment, I think is what I read early on was how much money was put into sort of setting this whole thing up with the prize money and everything else. Cause it's big money. It's $100,000 to the winner. You're talking about millions in prize money for each of these events. So we'll see. More to come. You and I will be there next in like I said, 10 days or so, and we'll see how that one goes. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go to the next story. Next stories. These are like sort of quick. I'll call them quick hitters. Um, so these are just stories I read that I thought were interesting. Not that I've gotten a whole lot of insight into them. Like one was Tinder reveals the perfect um, pace to keep a running date. So, first question to you is: have you ever heard of Tinder?
Yes, I've
All
heard
right.
of
Have you ever
Tinder.
been on Tinder?
Yes, I
Confess.
have.
You have. Okay, so you are familiar. So you have a pro. Do you have a profile?
I mean, I'm married, so like,
I'm just.
no.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm just. I assume this was all pre-marriage.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody sees me on there, yikes, someone stole my pictures. Yeah, those probably like, it was not when it was first really big, but probably what, 10 years ago. And it was mostly just like the fun. Me and Kristen would just sit and swipe, swipe, swipe,
Scroll
swipe,
past
swipe.
people. And, yeah,
Yeah.
just people watch. Yeah. So what do you think the perfect pace? So I guess what's happening is, per Tinder, is people honestly or not honestly, one of the things in their profile they talk about is their, athleticism,
Oh, jeez.
and their desire to like, go out and run, be outdoors. They're a fun person. They're not an introvert. They like people. None of those are me. Um, so the
Oh.
so they've decided that there's a perfect pace to run for one of these running dates because that's what people are now doing,
Oh, they're
saying,
going on
"Oh,
running
yeah, I
dates.
see your profile. I see you like to run." Instead of going to some of the comments in the article are around like, yeah, to go and sit with coffee, it feels like a job interview when you're going on a date for the first time. That it feels awkward. You have the awkward silence. You got to fill it. You got to come up with a funny story. Blah blah blah. On a run date, so if you find someone who runs like you and you go out to and say, let's just meet up at the local park, do a little park run, and we'll do that. And so if you get somebody who's a 6 minute miler, well, that's going to be very awkward if I'm a 12-minute miler. So what do you think the perfect pace is for a run date where you can still talk and chit chat and not be winded and that kind of stuff?
I mean, probably like a 9:30 pace because you think people are being a little performative. So they want to run slow enough to be chatting and like keep up with the other person, but they also don't want to be like 10, 12. Am I even close?
You are a bad running date. So if
Well,
someone
shocker.
asks you for a run date and you're going out there and doing 9.5 minute miles,
How are
you're
these
not
people
at
running?
the magic number of 12.1 minutes per mile is, and
What?
not just 12-minute miles. These are
12.1?
12.1 minute miles is what they describe as the magic number, the perfect running pace where you can have a conversation. You're not heavy breathing because that's awkward.
Mm-hmm.
You're not drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
Because yeah, some people, men or women, don't really want to be like sweating profusely around their subsequent or their hopefully their future date. So
Um,
that's your pace.
yeah, well, I would want to run so fast because I'd want them to know that if they ever tried to chase me or whatever, like, you're a stranger and I want you to know I will outrun you, so you cannot kidnap me. Um, but yeah, maybe this is why.
Yeah, park run seems a little risky for a woman. Like, oh, let's go do a park run. Let's go run into the woods where it's all isolated. Yeah, don't
Yeah,
do that. Stay in public. Go to your Starbucks. Have your coffee. Fine. There's a few awkward moments. So let's see how people handle awkward moments. Don't say a word, and let's just see what they do.
just
And
do
they
a date.
handle
It's not
a
worth
little
it.
bit of silence.
Well, all
All
right,
right.
12 minutes. Love it. I'm
Yep.
glad
12-minute
Tinder's
pace.
weighing in on running.
So if you go on Tinder and you say you're a runner, but people are going to call you on it, and they're going to call you on a date, and you better be prepared to go run a 12-minute mile if you can.
All right.
All right, you're familiar with tech CEOs, right? You've got sort of Elon Musk, you've got Jeff Bezos, you've got Mark Zuckerberg. Which of those do you think is the most athletic?
Well, I already know the answer to this.
All right, well then tell me what do you believe you know the answer to be?
Well, I know Mark Zuckerberg is a runner because he's always out there running those 5Ks, looking like an alien or whatever. People are always like, he's not even a real person, but he's running whatever, the thing. But so I know he's always running a 5K. So what is his
Yes, he
5K
is.
time?
He recently ran the Stanford 5K. So, what do you think, Mark Zuckerberg? Do you strike him? Does he strike you as one that is a quick paced 5K guy?
In my head, like no, but then I'm like, I mean, he's probably got all the time in the world to run, train, all the things, and
Haven't you heard CEOs are busy as F? They don't have
I
time for anything other than work.
um
5 a.m. to midnight.
no, not these guys. I don't believe that. So I think he probably has lots of time to run. And I mean, you have to be determined, right, to start something from nothing. So I think I want to say I think he runs like a sub 20. Does he? Doesn't he?
Well, you're right in the ballpark, by the way. So at the Stanford one, the most recent one he ran a 20:35.
Okay.
Once again, he is the most fit tech CEO. Well, again, of called the big tech.
Right.
I'm sure there are a bunch of tech bros out there that I can beat that. No, no,
Right.
dude, you're
Or like
until
I
you're one of those
CrossFit.
big boys. Yeah, focus on work. Um, but his best time, by the way, is sub 20, 1934.
Mm,
Not the year, but the time of 19 minutes and 34 seconds. In 2024, he clocked that in one of these 5Ks.
good for him.
Yeah, and I'm going to say in my heyday, I could have beat him. It's not my heyday. My heyday is behind me, and I cannot run. I don't think I'm sure I can't run a 1934 right
I'm gonna say next year I challenge Mark Zuckerberg
now.
to
Okay.
a
We'll sign
5K.
you up for the Stanford. It seems like he's done that one multiple times. So I think if we sign you up for that one, we can. I think we can pick him out of a lineup, and we can probably get into the same group as he's in.
Yeah, I'm in it.
Let's see. And by the way, he finished fourth in his age group. By the way, in 33 overall.
Wow.
33. By the way, there were 1,214 participants. Not bad. Not bad at all. He is in
Yep.
the 40 to 44 age category. So again, very respectable. You may recall, by the way, he challenged Elon Musk to an MMA match.
I did hear that. I'm guessing that never happened.
That did not happen. that's something that was never going to happen. Elon Musk accepted the challenge, and then I think he claimed his cardiologist or someone said he shouldn't do it because he's just not fit enough.
I'm not into celebrity fights ever since the Mike Tyson thing, and I was like, I got so wrapped up in it and just so let down. And I'm like, you know what? I can't even care about these things.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these. I mean, I do remember the Mike Tyson. That was the Jake Paul or one of the Paul
hmm
brothers.
Yeah.
Um, Logan Paul. I'm not sure. It's
No,
Jake.
it was Jake. Yeah.
It's Jake. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I haven't. You know what? I haven't seen any of those fights recently. Maybe he's been having them, and I just haven't been paying attention. But yeah, it seemed like that was maybe that's peaked. Maybe that stuff has jumped the shark, so to speak. I hope so. I
Yeah.
get a little tired of these Instagram people who are now like, oh, I'm gonna do fights now. And again, I think he had a respectable. Again, I don't know why I should be hating on the guy, but um, I'm not a fan of him or his brother um, for whatever reason. And yeah, I just think that what, just go back to your Instagram, just do your little videos.
Spoken like a true boomer.
I am definitely hating. I'm hating on him right now. Yes, I know. That definitely the boomer's
Oh,
coming out.
yeah.
All right, let's go to a different story. Let's go into
Next
something more
story.
serious, something beneficial to runners.
Oh man, let's get
Uh,
it.
how long does it take to train for a half marathon? Not a full, not a full. We're not talking about full. We're talking about a half. Can you give me what you believe it takes to train with no other information? Someone just called you out of the blue. You don't know. You don't know their age. You don't know their conditioning. How long are you going to take?
10 weeks?
Okay.
Is that way too long?
No, 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 no. There are 10 weeks is a pretty good answer. There are three. In this article, they broke it down to three categories.
Oh,
So, if you're a new runner, you might need to take 6 months or more to train for a half marathon. Meaning, you're just getting off the couch. You haven't run, maybe ever. You're probably a little older category. If you're 20 years old, you don't need 6 months. If you're 50 years old, you might need 6 months. That's category one. Category two, if you're stepping up from a 5K or 10K, so you're already a runner, you're doing the neighborhood 10Ks, we've done these, many of them, you should aim for maybe 8 to 12 weeks. Right? So right in your 10-week category, right there. So that's the middle category. That's what you're answering for.
yeah.
But if you're already an experienced runner and you want to try to run a faster half marathon, you can get ready in 6 to 10 weeks. So on the outside of your 10, but you can be ready as ready as 6 weeks, and you can get faster.
Right.
All right, so you're a coach. I'm going to give you a little quiz here.
Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, you may not know where I'm coming from, but let's go. There's they also broke down and said, like, if you're running 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, or 6 times a week, right? What are the different workouts you should do? And I'll tell you the different categories. It's easy runs, faster efforts, and long runs are your three basic categories that you can choose from. So you're running 3 times a week. What should you do?
One of each.
Let's see. Yes, if you're doing three, you should do an easy run, a faster run, and a long run. You are correct. How about if you're doing 4 runs a
Two.
week?
Too
That,
easy, and then the other two.
yeah, no, you nailed it, man. You're getting on. You're sharp on today. Let's see. So 2 easy runs, a faster run, and a long run. Why do you think you should mix them up like that?
Like what?
Why the three categories? Why are we doing three categories of running?
Well, because you need the long run to sustain that distance, right? Not just mentally, but physically going on that amount of time. You need the easy because we know the 80-20, your favorite thing in the world. Got to have all those easy runs. And then you do need to work on some speed because not only does that help with form and efficiency, most of us want to have some kind of speed related goals. So that is
Yeah,
going
you
to
want to
be
get faster. Yeah, I
what
like
you
to run.
want.
Yeah, no, that's right. All those three things. They all contribute differently to your cardiovascular endurance, your ability to do a longer run, your ability to get speed during your runs. And the long run's easy too. I mean, if we broke it into easy runs and long runs, but long runs are actually easy runs. They're
Right.
just not easy because they're long. Because running 10 miles, even at easy pace, isn't fun sometimes. All right, let's go. If you're doing 5 runs a week, so now we get a little tougher because you got more things to choose from.
Mm.
5 runs a week. What are you doing? By the way, you're busy as all hell running 5 times a week, but okay.
Right. You're probably doing 2 easy, 2 fast, 1 long.
Oh man, you are. Yeah, it's almost like you got the article in front of you. All right, here's the last one. You can get this one wrong. You can definitely get this one wrong. 6 runs a week. How are you breaking that down? And what day are you taking off?
Oh, well, 3 easy, 2 fast, 1 long. Rest day after your long run?
They don't give you that answer,
Oh,
but I would have said take a Sunday off. But most people do their long runs on Sunday. All right, so
yeah.
no, you nailed it. Let's
Woo.
see. Yeah, they do talk about all of the benefits of an easy run, a fast run, and a long run. So it's a pretty good article. I thought this was good for somebody who's getting into running and doesn't have a coach. If they don't have a coach and they want a coach, they can call you, but don't call me. I'm not coaching. Uh, I just talk like as if I know some of this stuff. All right, let's go to another final article today. 9 hilarious, and I don't necessarily find these hilarious, running types you see on every route. All right.
Oh, geez. Okay.
All right. The turtle. That's the I'm too slow to be a real runner. That's the title of that one.
Oh, no.
Are you a turtle?
I
You're going
mean,
to have to choose one of these 9, by the way. So you're going to tell me whether you believe you fall into a turtle ahead of time as we go to each one. Are you this or are you not?
I mean, no, I'm not a turtle. And I resent that there's any description of someone that's too slow to be a real runner. That is rude because everyone who runs is a runner, but I don't think I'm the turtle.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Number 2, the competitor. Let's race. Always. There's no slow days. There's no easy days. It's we're racing. You're out with me. You're gonna go hard. What do you got? Is that you?
Well, not now. I feel like that could have been me, competitor back in the day. I feel like I used to always be that person who like has to be one step ahead of whoever I'm running with, just because you're like they're chasing me. No, I'm chasing them.
Yeah.
So in a past life, that was me.
Yeah, and you know, for me, from that Rocky run that we did, when the gun goes off, I
You're
take off.
gone. Yep.
Whether I can sustain that pace or not, I'm going.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Next is category is the elite. Oh, I just won that race by accident.
Oh, hate that.
Yeah, no one likes that person. Oh, I'm so good, but I wasn't even trying. Like I just finished it. Oh, I was trying to take my time. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right. Number
Yeah. Nope.
4, the never alone runner. Wait, I can't run solo. The
Uh,
opposite of me.
well, that is like a smart, safe runner. So, um, yeah, no, definitely not me still, but don't knock it. And there used to be a time where I was often always running with other people. So I dig it. Sometimes that could be me.
All right. How about the almost runner? That's the I'm totally gonna start soon runner. You know
Oh.
what? I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run this week.
I mean, I guess that's like sometimes me because I feel like weeks will go by where, like in the morning or whatever, I'll say to my husband, I'm like, I got to work out tonight. And he's like, okay, great. And then tonight happens and he's like, you're going to go work out? I'm like, no, tomorrow. And then it just, every day, it's like, I'm going to go, I'm going to go, I'm going to go. And, you know, so yeah, I guess that could be me
That
doing
could be me too. I mean, I get. I'm all or nothing. I'm either running, 5 times a week and lifting in between, or I'm struggling to sort of like, oh man, I'm not motivated. And right now, I'm still in that sort of in between, a little bit of an in between stage because I keep getting motivated for a month, and then I just took a week off driving back from Florida. That always screws me up.
yeah.
Um, so I got to get back get into it for another month or two, and then see if I can sustain it.
Yeah.
How about the trail snub? Snob, I shouldn't say snub. Snob. Um, that's the you run on pavement. It's bad for your knees.
Who are these people? They all sound terrible. Um, yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I'll run anywhere. So yeah, no, not me.
Yeah, I like the trail. I like the idea of a
Fun.
trail run. I can never find a good trail to run on that's a good distance. And
Hmm.
yeah, anyway. All right, number 7. I'm so busy, runner. Fitness in miles between meetings.
No, I don't think so.
No,
That's not really
no,
me.
no, no. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I'm retired. I might have been that guy when I was like, oh, I used to run at lunchtime many years
Yeah.
ago. I got 2 more categories for you. Um, I can't runner. I wish I could run, but I can't. You know, my knees hurt bad. My back hurts. That voice seems to be coming out a lot today's episode.
Yeah. What? Your interpretation of all of these people is terrible. Um, Good thing this isn't the mental health running podcast anymore.
Yeah,
Yikes.
shaming people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, yeah, no, that's also probably me sometimes because I feel like every time I would go for a run or be saying why I wasn't meeting up with the running group or whatever, it was like, oh, I'm having problems with my back, blah, 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 blah. But I actually was. So,
It's real. The struggles are
yeah.
real. All right,
So,
last
yeah.
one. The social media runner. That's never been me. I very rarely, although I do have pics on my phone of you and I at these various events.
Right.
It always comes up in my sort of whatever the algorithm is. It shows you like, hey, a daily pic from 5 years ago when you used to be athletic. Yes.
Right. Right. Yeah, well, I mean, as anybody knows, I don't really social media. So, and if I do, it's for like it used to be for the run club. It's never me. So, no, not me, but I do always think about those people because I am obviously friends with a lot of runners and I do find the different pictures and or things that people share about their workouts to be interesting. So,
Oh, I thought you were going to about to hate on your friends for I know some of these people who post these pictures all the time. They're all about the social media.
no, I'm trying to keep it positive, keep it light, and I would love if any of my friends who are runners listen. So I'm not going to be like, screw you
All
guys.
right, well, this is for some reason you're usually the negative Nelly and I'm
For
usually the
sure.
positive guy, but today we reverse roles. So with that, I'm done my stories before I get more negative.
Yeah, well, you know me, I'm often whatever the opposite. I'd like to say I'm a thermostat, but I think I'm more just like I balance things out in the worst way sometimes. So, yeah, with that, we are done. I promise next week I won't talk all about animals for the first 10 minutes. I'll come up with something else that's fun, but please like the show, subscribe. We're on YouTube. If this video works, you will get to see us on YouTube. Feel free to comment. I want to respond and make me sound smarter or less smart, whatever it is. 5 stars. You can say whatever you want. Email us, any of the things. Also, we are trying to figure out for the fall, too, what race we are going to do. So if you have any suggestions in the Philadelphia area, please share them on any of the reviews or whatever. So that's all I got. See ya.
Goodbye.